Alright, here we go. This is a 1v1 ranked match on Nesthorn between the blue player on the upper left-hand corner, Wimplaw in the Raptor Neo, and the red player in the bottom right-hand corner, Doominator10, also in the Raptor Neo with a Raptor bird. Or pet. It's not a bird, right? It's like a raptor. Anyway, yeah, flying around. Same thing with Wimplaw. And they are going pretty standard with Moneymakers as the only socket unit for Wimplaw. And actually, Doominator has a lunchbox as well. Lunchbox does really help you keep those contested outposts, especially the one that is most heavily under contest, like mid or the forward, if you're holding that. And Nesthorn has been revamped fairly recently with the middle outpost only having 2 sockets. Oh, and actually Wimplaw going straight for the cheese, going for this outpost with boomers, with creepers actually, and is going to be able to get the neutralized. And I don't know if he's going to be able to take it actually, because he only has creepers. And Doominator does see this now, is bringing runners over. I would grab creeps as well. Oh, there is one blue bulb up, and these Dillos are knocking the rest of the bulbs down. And this, and this does go back up to red, so he is reinforcing them with runners, runners that he has actually built himself instead of creeps. Usually is what you see defending or bunkered in outposts, but now Doominator has mid. And this harassment is going down by Wimplaw, but it's straight up on the face of all of Doominator's defenses. Usually you would try to maybe drop them back here or something like that, where the massive amount of defending units for the opposing player are not within firing range, because the outpost is it does block. But now Doominator getting a better surround on his outpost, is taking a quick scout. He probably will do a few long Dillo drops to take care of some socket units. He does drop one. I would have dropped it a little bit closer, sort of in the middle of all those socket units, so it could just be left there. But he's actually also going for this close outpost. Wimplaw is here to respond, and he does drop a T99, which is great at defending, especially against these units specifically, because they are not heavy attackers. But the thing is, he did bunker it. If he put it closer on a corner or kind of further out, it would be able to defend more than one side. But Doominator did get killed there on the way out by Wimplaw, and Wimplaw is going to be able to clean up the rest of these red units and retake this forward. He does save a single moneymaker. One did get killed by that initial Dillo drop. Doominator has respawned, and now it's taking a couple of quick circles. Not exactly sure what he's going to do, but drops the Dillo over here. It is going for the outpost, knocking out bulbs, but it will be taken off, taken care of really quickly by Wimplaw. A couple of infantry did go down for Doominator, but it didn't really do that much. Just went in and unlit these other blue bulbs. But Doominator now going for Wimplaw's forward, gonna take out all these infantry. Ooh, there is a flagger down. That is a little scary because you cannot avoid their fire for the most part. And now Wimplaw dropping a lot of defensive Dillos. Doominator with the EMP really effective, but Wimplaw has the exact same thing, has the exact same ability, since they are both the exact same mech. Wimplaw getting taken down by all those units that were dropped by Doominator, and Doominator decides to go for a moneymaker instead of finishing off this forward cap. Really wouldn't advise. I would kind of advise against that. He could have just set that Dillo to attack, forcing Wimplaw to take extra time away from the front line, which is this right now. And Doominator gonna clean up these units, but he really should have tried for the neutralize. That way Wimplaw wouldn't be able to get these quickly defending Dillos out over here. He would have had to go all the way back to another outpost. Both players with an extra ability point not spent yet, but Doominator getting this neutralized and gonna get actually 4 infantry in, and he does take it. None of the bulbs get knocked out before he's able to take it, but there are already 2 down. This will eventually get re-neutralized. unless Doominator drops some defensive infantry, which are not in queue for him. So it is back down. He is forced to run away, but Wimplaw is still really under a lot of fire from these Longhorn, which are much stronger than the the unit that he's decided to bring up, which is the Dillo. He is setting that T99 down for defense, so it will be able to take care of that Longhorn, and these creeps coming in will be in favor of Wimplaw being able to keep that neutral. And now this random Dillo, there are actually two socket kills there. I'm not really sure when that happened, but now Wimplaw is he actually has a fair defense off at this point. Now Doominator has not been able to fully take this or neutralize this outpost. Even though he has a lot of units, he doesn't actually have anything defending mid either. So now Doominator is really pushing, actually now has much more tanks over than he had before. I would just, if I were him, I would expect, he really should bring all the rest of his Longhorn over, even send them to capture just so they eventually get here while he can babysit his own tanks. He is microing them around pretty well, having them share the fire that's being thrown down. He actually has Dillos as well. He has Dillos and Longhorn in his loadout, which you really don't see that much, where you have two different tank class units, just, I guess, because they serve different purposes, but, these Longhorn really should be enough for him. Bringing that Dillo back, saving it, does not save those other tanks, and actually the rest of these will go down. Wimplaw is firing in. Oh, but actually Doominator is able to save them. But Wimplaw comes to finish them off. Oh, and does get heavily under fire, does get chased away by Doominator, and now he will be able to save them up. There are actually there is no artillery in Doominator's loadout, whereas Wimplaw has and is producing Archies. At this point, these bombs, Doominator has bombs in queue. I'm not really sure what he's planning on doing with them, but this is a good use of this drop, using this to try to take down some moneymakers, but Wimplaw is here to respond, and now Doominator is not able to take down any of these socket units, and is very low on life, really needs to get away there, does cloak, so he will be able to get away, and now Wimplaw just has to really take care of this last Longhorn, can probably just drop a Dillo right on the back and finish it off, but instead going with the T99, which is also another viable choice. But Doominator bringing this this Dillo to the moneymaker kill, not gonna drop it on the front door at all. Just drops it kind of with that behind that tree, and does get taken out by Wimplaw on the way back. And Wimplaw definitely sees this and will take care of it. And now Doominator rebuilding a bunch of moneymakers because there were a lot taken out. And now Wimplaw is still trying to finish off this Dillo. Really didn't need to put, his own time into that. Just needed to put another Dillo next to it or behind it or something to be able to hit the back, or even, there was even already a lot of life taken out from his initial shot, so he could have just left one or two Dillos sitting there, and they would have been able to finish it off without him having to, babysit there and maintain with his own presence and attack in. But to each his own, and now he does have a pretty good mixture. He has one arty set up with a bunch of flaggers and a lot of Dillos for ground support. And now Doominator with the cloaked bombs does not go for the flaggers, goes for that single T99. Really don't need it. I would really advise against that. You need to go for clumps of units when you are bombing. Bombing really is obviously, because it is an area of effect attack, it needs to be against clumps of units, and that would be clearly the best use of those units. And Boomer's going down, will finish off that one Longhorn. Oh no! Actually doesn't finish off that Longhorn, and Doominator is able to put that Dillo back down, and now doing some bombing runs really effective this time against clumps of units, and those flaggers are pretty paper thin. Gonna get another one. Oh, and does not choose to cloak. I mean, usually when you are Neo doing bombing runs, you just do cloaked, kind of arced flight patterns bombing runs, and he does just have more and more bombs in queue, which if he drops them right, which will be give or take around here, which will be extremely effective. And now he has some tanks going for the fort, some tanks sitting over here. No, he doesn't have any sitting over here actually, so he isn't really trying to split Wimplaw's attention, but he is bringing them down to get some moneymaker kills. And And now, setting artillery backwards in defensive position, he actually able to save all the moneymakers that these Longhorn were going after. But now Doominator has a small opportunity to, you know, the single Longhorn really isn't going to do it. He really needs to go with more units. Those bombs will contribute quite a lot, actually, and does retreat that Longhorn, healing it up, and has more Longhorn queued up, you know, after his bombs are. But at this point, Wimplaw is doing a pretty good job defending his this forward here. It's largely in part to Doominator not having artillery. If Doominator had some artillery, you know, sitting here, give or take somewhere over here, firing in, then Wimplaw would not be able to just leave his defenses there unguarded and not contested by you know, his own artillery. But because Doominator doesn't have artillery in his loadout, he is kind of at a disadvantage in this kind of warfare with just trying to do bombing runs instead. I mean, which is fairly effective, but you really have to drop them on clumps of units to be able to get that full effect off. Now just has a station random Longhorn here. Oh, I guess he's trying to mass more units over here to do a quick ferry over to Wimplaw's forward, actually his close, that factory. A quick Longhorn Dillo drop over here by Wimplaw, but that will get cleaned up by that Longhorn that Doominator drops. And Wimplaw again with the boomer drops, trying to, I don't know what he's going for. He's probably trying to get that neutralized on the outpost, but you know, these boomer creeper AI, it just doesn't go where you want it to go usually. And now Doominator just ferrying 3 tanks. He probably should have stationed them on this corner so they wouldn't be contested by the other units. And actually, Wimplaw is continually dropping these creepers, but none of them are going for the outpost like you want. They are all going for passing creeps or for that tank that was stationed there before. And now just doing more of the same, and probably does not get that moneymaker. Doominator is able to save it before Wimplaw is able to get it, and you know, he's just continually doing these creeper drops. I wouldn't really. The funny thing is, they are not. I mean, every single time he tries to get him to attack the outpost, they go for an enemy tank, and and actually that T-99 is going to be able to finish off that Longhorn if not responded to. But Doominator is to, you know, he has this forward. This close actually guarded very well, was able to take it and able to drop a lot of Longhorn in defense, and actually even has some Seekers down. So Wimplaw will not be able to approach this, and he is starting to leapfrog them up closer to the fort. Wimplaw is just continually doing these creeper drops and really needs to drop with the EMP after that, but he is not. He dropped way over here hitting these other tanks, but he really needs to, you know, use that drop EMP, or, you know, that land and EMP to hit the tanks that are going to eventually kill these boomers. And a few of them do go off, actually, surprisingly. I could have sworn that these Longhorn would be way more than enough to take care of it. There are a lot over here, but actually they do, a couple of them do get finished. Rebels coming out for Doominator, so these incoming creeps are not going to be a threat anymore with those Rebels there to be able to take care of them. I mean, they were not really a threat to begin with all Longhorn Station, but at this point, those Rebels, one has been killed. Oh, actually, both have been. Oh, no. That was a Longhorn. So there is only one of these Rebels left. One, okay, and it finally does get killed by Wimplaw. And Doominator coming over with more Rebels, with more Longhorn, just gonna slowly push forward. Really could just do a straight up push, but the funny thing is, Wimplaw is level 7 with Goliaths, and Doominator does not have Goliaths in his loadout. So if Wimplaw gets a really nice wall of Goliaths, there isn't much that Doominator can do except for continual bombing runs, just because he doesn't have artillery in his loadout. Because I don't think a good wall of Goliaths can be broken by you know, this Longhorn composition. Although he does have a really large number of Longhorn here. So if he does just start to produce more and start to mass them up, he really can do a tank push large enough to break out. But Wimplaw is actually leapfrogging his Goliaths up instead of pushing them up. So they are heavily under fire. Oh, now they do get, one does get sent to a capture, but Doominator is able to grab this neutral this forward actually, and is able to station a lot of tanks down, so he will be able to get the defense up. But in the meantime, Wimplaw is bringing more Goliaths over here, and will actually clean up the Longhorn that are defending. These Goliaths are super strong in comparison, but Wimplaw is actually making a pretty good push toward this outpost with these Goliaths, and now Doominator only has Rebels in queue. Is kind of short on cash, does not have enough to really. He really should bring these Longhorn that are over here and start making a defensive line over here with the Longhorn, but these Goliath are just wreaking havoc, just smashing up these Longhorn over here, and most of them are dead. There are not enough Longhorn or anything actually in this area for Doominator to be able to defend against these Goliaths. The Goliaths really just need to get forward more. They just need to move forward and start ripping up these. I mean, these 3 Longhorn will actually eventually kill this Goliath. So Wimplaw really does need to support it with a couple more units, or at least with his own fire. But now does not get that chase on Doominator, but he is able to retake this outpost, and does heal up his 1 Goliath. Actually goes back down to neutral because of all those surrounding red units that were not contested at all. And now bringing Goliath back to defend against Doominator. But now Doominator, even though he lost that forward, he still has the upper hand. He has a lot more economy in terms of income, and he does have a lot more power. He does have a lot more units. Well, not a lot, but it is this 50 to 66 upkeep difference right now. And all Wimplaw is doing at this moment is defending this close. So Doominator just still has Wimplaw's forward, and Wimplaw. I mean, look at all these unsocketed moneymakers. He needed to get those saves off, but Wimplaw really needs to go back and resocket those moneymakers, or else he's going to be really in the red compared to Doominator. He does resocket 2 of them, but 1 did get killed by Doominator, and now once again pushing out, but there is a massive Goliath push coming for this power station. I don't think he knows. I'm not even sure if he knows. He does see it on his minimap, but and now he definitely sees it, but he really needs to make a good horizontal line right here somewhere with these incoming Goliaths, and he does get that EMP off, so it will help just a little bit, but he really needs to produce more defending units. These bombs really are not enough because these Goliaths have so much HP. He really needs to make more Longhorn. He has 17,000 in the bank. He's just making defensive runners right now, and actually he didn't even drop it behind his outpost to get that those bulbs relit. He's going for the kill on Wimplaw right now, but does not get it. Wimplaw does get back to his outpost, or to his fort fast enough, and this outpost is neutral, so now Wimplaw is going to be able to retake his forward, and now Doominator has a completely undefended mid right now with just like 1 Rebel and 1 Longhorn, so there's a massive amount of Goliaths for Wimplaw here, and he's really pushing up here. He's going to be able to take this outpost back. He's going to be able to take it back. Oh, but Doominator's been able to take this. When did that happen? Oh, I'm not really sure when he was able to grab this one, but now he's bringing the Dillo to the front door. He's going to be able to get some attack and force Wimplaw back, and all Wimplaw has are these creepers. If Doominator does a little bit of micro, he will be able to save some. No, does not save that one, but the 1 creeper over here was not able to take care of that Dillo, so Wimplaw still has a little bit of work to do, and Doominator just bringing more Dillos over here to the front door. He just drops 1 for that moneymaker kill. I kind of would advise against that. Just go for the life. At this point, we are in quarter 4, so we're way past the halftime heal. So now Doominator is able to put more Dillos down here, getting more moneymaker kills, but I really would just completely go for that front door. Wimplaw is on the defensive, will not be able to get enough out just because he's way behind economically. Whatever Doominator drops is not going to be able to be kept up by Wimplaw in terms of blocking units. So if he continually drops at the front door, at the sides on these those bridges, I'm not really sure what to call those, but on those side areas that you can drop them on this map, he would be able to get a really good advantage here. But now more units coming up for Wimplaw. The Goliath is really scary, especially against light units like these Dillos and Rebels. Doominator is continually producing Dillos. I'm not really sure why. He really needs to make Longhorn to get a defense off. Maybe more Dillos for mobility and to just spam. But at this point, these Goliaths are just wrecking these Dillos that Doominator is producing. He really needs to make Longhorn to contest these, especially because there's a T99. There's 2 T99s as well, so these Dillos are really not. Oh man, they're really dying. But Doominator is here to micro them all everywhere, so that's the he at least that is there. But the thing is, he's not really doing it to be enough to be able to save it, and he will. Oh, now Wimplaw is able to retake this. He's gonna be able to take this. There is no way this Goliath sitting right face face first next to this this outpost with all these level 4 creeps, and now Doominator does go down. All these level 4 creeps will walk in. This will turn back to blue, and we are reset back to this battle for mid with Wimplaw only missing one bulb here. And now, the thing is, Doominator, I would say, is behind at this point with pretty much nothing defending the middle outpost. If Wimplaw just took a quick flyby, he would be able to see that he can just start dropping units and ferrying them over to this middle outpost. And now Doominator just grabbing creeps. I guess that, you know, that's always something good and constructive that you can do. Just use creeps as much as you possibly can, but now Doominator really needs to start worrying about, and he drops them here. He really should have dropped them here out of line of fire of every single unit, actually. But these are actually out of range of all these defending units here. They are able to neutralize his outpost, and he is able to make it red. And now Doominator has a little bit of oh god, there's a Goliath push. Oh, there's a Goliath push coming. Oh, Doominator, he does have this forward, but it's still surrounded by T99s and Goliaths, and Wimplaw is shooting in. It's going to get neutralized pretty quickly, although there are 5 Longhorns sitting over here that were probably all in Doominator's queue to be able to drop here. This Goliath push is still coming in. Oh god, and Doominator doesn't see it yet. He does see it on his minimap because there were those creeps over there, but they got killed really quickly by those Goliaths. I don't know if he's aware that this humongous Goliath push is coming, and he does see now. He does see it. Oh god, is he gonna be able? He does drop for the MP, but if he gets hit by those Goliaths just once, all 5 are just gonna wreck him. There are bombs. He's defending with bombs. He's defending Goliaths with bombs. No, Doominator, you gotta make more. You gotta make some Longhorn. You gotta put some well, you don't have any artillery, so at this point, make some Longhorn, micro them as much as possible. Oh, but this outpost does go neutral, and now Wimplaw is gonna be able to take it. Wimplaw is gonna be able to take this mid. Oh god, when Doominator dropping whatever creeps he can, he probably will be able to retake it eventually because there are a couple more creeps leaking in. But actually, these Goliaths just smashing these lights off, just delighting this middle outpost, and they are continuing their approach, gonna get the surround. These creeps are gonna do nothing against these Goliaths. These Goliaths are so strong. Even if he gets this outpost, their Goliaths are gonna re-neutralize them in like 4 seconds, and he really needs to do a counter push. He really needs to restart massing his units up. But actually, the one advantage that he has is this outpost is neutral, so if he is able to... No, this will go back up. Oh, this will go back to blue. Oh, and he goes back to blue. And it goes back to blue. And Wimplaw is here to defend. He does get the EMP off, and he will be able to defend this off. And now Wimplaw has mid. Doominator does have a full queue of Longhorn, which would have been great if he was able to take that top, that close factory, but now he doesn't have enough units anywhere. He is way behind it with an 84 to 37 upkeep difference, and now Doominator kind of had the game with a huge advantage in economy, you know, having mid, having that close, or that forward at different points of the game. But now these Goliaths are just continuing their approach here. If Doominator, you know, is careful and puts a lot of effort into microing, he has he will be able to take out these Goliaths incoming, but he is not prioritizing that. He is just making Dillos to defend. He really needs to put those Longhorn. Oh, and the Longhorn are approaching these Goliaths. Actually, the interesting thing is they are coming all at once, whereas these Goliaths are kind of at a one at a time kind of deal. So they will tear up these Goliaths incoming pretty well. There was one dropped over here by Wimplaw, but and you probably will be able to take care of these oh no, it is Smoking Black. It will get finished off, and now Doominator has a lot of Longhorn over here. He used this push to be able to ferry them closer, so now he will be able to group a lot of those Longhorns. So even though he doesn't have this mid, he probably will be able to neutralize and take this factory if he goes back and grabs some creeps or some infantry. Wimplaw bringing this Goliath, so it will be able to take care of a lot of the units over here in this area, but now Doominator has been able to clear a lot of units over here. There are 2 Goliaths, which is quite a gargantuan task to be able to clear with just dropped units, whatever you choose to. But now Wimplaw is actually moving them out instead of keeping them there for the defense, and actually moving out all of his Goliaths. He is starting to try to get that finish or try to get the next outpost. But this huge arm here on Nesthorn is a humongous telegraph for incoming tanks. So you really have to accompany that push towards the next outpost with a distraction, such as dropping something over here, dropping something at the front door, which makes that scary "you're getting attacked" noise. and will draw your opponent away from the battlefield. But now Doominator is able to make this huge cluster of tanks, and I'm sure there's more coming. There are 3 Goliaths here, and with that EMP, the Doominator will be able to throw it again and again and again, because he has level 3 EMP. That will he really needs to make a line right here, a horizontal line right here. This is the bottleneck right here. These tanks come in, so he really needs to make a horizontal line right here of tanks so they can really get that crossing the T thing. Which a lot of people are very familiar with you know, that guide on the forums. But yeah, he will be able to get, but he doesn't clump them up very well. And Wimplaw was able to micro a lot of these Goliaths in the area to be able to get them in here at the same time. And now Doominator looks like he's going to lose this power station. It does go neutral, and there it's just massively surrounded by blue units. And now all Doominator has left. Oh, and now we have hit overtime 2, and so we are bleeding out, and Doominator does obviously have a disadvantage in outposts. Wimplaw has so many outposts compared to Doominator only has 1. Wimplaw has 4. He will, oh, well, not 4 yet. Once he's able to claim this, these creeps are coming in, he will be able to have 4 versus Doominator's 1, and now Doominator doing a quick push to I guess probably to the fort, using some rebels and some Longhorn, but actually setting them on attack just so he can make them move up here. Wimplaw is actually pushing up himself with his Goliaths, and oh, there are so many Goliaths over here. Oh man, this is definitely not enough. Doominator will not be able to save this one, and Wimplaw with like 4 Goliaths. 5 Goliaths actually shooting at this front door, and a lot of them are getting direct hits, and this is GG. Doominator, Wimplaw gets this victory over Doominator in this 1v1 ranked match on Nesthorn, and that was just, Doominator was doing a really good job bringing units left and right over here, attacking this forward, attacking them close, attacking the, keeping control of mid, and, you know, just because he didn't, I mean, if he was able to commit this attack over here and completely claim this forward, then maybe he would have been able to grab that match. But, you know, it's, however it works, he did put, oh, I didn't even notice he had a lunchbox there, just stuff kept happening. But yeah, I will say Wimplaw really did a good job with those counter pushes with that comeback. This is RUI, and that's game. See you next time.